All right. So the first thing we wanted to do is give you a little tour of the website, particularly the United States one. And Haley, were you going to share your screen for that? These are all things that you may or may not have seen, and we know you have not seen at least one of them because we did it today. So there will be at least one surprise. Today is full of surprises for the Globe partners. Um, okay, so Haley.
Want me to talk as I tour? Yeah, okay. So I'm just on the main, my internet seems to be a little slow, but I'm just on the main Globe page. So a quick way to get to the United States is that it's right here. Thanks to DIS, they put all these handy links right on the front. So from the homepage, you can just click, and this is where we are housing all of our resources. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the tabs we have here, some of the links we have here, and on each one we can talk about it a little bit. So I was actually going to start, Alicia, with Stay Current, if you want to talk about that one.
Yeah, sure. So we have this page. It's kind of a one-stop shop for you to find ways to follow us and, keep up to date with news and events. So we've got our newsletter subscription right at the top there. That's for the U.S. Country Coordination Office newsletters. So we send a monthly newsletter to partners and a monthly newsletter to educators. It's all part of the same group, so there's just one sign up form for that. So feel free to sign up. That's, we share news stories and events and, funding opportunities and things like that through the newsletters. So, and then there's also a link to the archive that's actually, it's only the most recent, it's like the 20 most recent newsletters that we've sent is what's accessible there. Then we have our various social media pages. So we have two Facebook places. We have one that's our US office page, and then we have a group for US educators. And so you can follow our page or you can ask to join our group. And again, we just share various things there. Then we have our YouTube playlists. We have our US Globe Office channel with, we put all of our recordings from Watercoolers on there. We have a few student research symposia related videos, including two new ones that are really exciting. One from Jody's Midwest Student Research Symposium from this past spring, and then one from the Jet Propulsion Lab in California. They hosted the Pacific and Northwest Student Research Symposium. So those are some fun new videos there. And then there's a few other playlists. And then we're still on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's every place you can find us online besides this website.
Awesome. So again, that's right here on the left, Stay Current. So you could be going there right now and signing up for all our things. The next one I'm going to click on says US Partners. So when you click on here, we have a list of all of our active partnerships, but we also have, we have a lot of other resources for partners. Some of these are only accessible if you're logged into the website. So if you go to this site and you don't see something and you are in fact a Globe partner, you might need to log in. So the first one I'll click on says Partner Activities. And here you can find all of our awesome partner yearbooks. So Alicia, I'm going to tap you in again.
No rest for me. Yeah, so as you see here, we've posted all of our past yearbooks. We're coming up again on the time when we'll be asking you to submit for those of you who are partners. We're going to ask you to submit information for our 2024 yearbook, and we'll be sending out emails to everybody starting in November, which we know is not the end of 2024, but we have a goal to have this ready to be published and printed for whenever I forget when the NSTA spring conference. We want to have it available so that we can share all of the good work that you're all doing with educators at that conference, and then any other upcoming conferences. So we think it's very important that you share your information with us. That's, a great way for us to A, know what you're doing, and B, share all of your good work with people who aren't part of our fantastic Globe community yet.
And then the other thing on here is Jen put together a Padlet from our mini grant program we held last year. So we offered small grants to Globe partnerships, and they did a lot of really awesome stuff. So you can check that out here, and we'll also hopefully be hearing from a lot of them over the course of the year at Watercoolers or at NARM. So there'll be other opportunities to hear more about that work.
And can I just add that we've added the links to news stories and to the water coolers if there was one already. And we're going to put in links to any resources that were published, etc., right from the Padlet. So not only will they be in other places on the website, but also if you're wondering about somebody's specific mini grant, the resources that they generated or the presentation they gave will also be accessible through the Padlet.
Yay. Next down the line, we've got partner opportunities. So this one is one that you need to be logged in as a Globe partner to see. But if we have funding opportunities, you can find them here. So right now we actually have a small funding opportunity open to create your own Earth Around Us tent, which if you're at the annual meeting, you may have seen, or you can look at Alicia's background. She has some of the really cool murals from that. And then we also have our community request form. So if you're looking for a letter of support or commitment reference from our office, you can find the link to that here. And this gets updated regularly. Here comes the really exciting new thing. So we have a whole section for templates. So we're just starting to build this out. And if you have things to share, we would love to add them to here. So there are a number of different templates on here that you can grab and borrow and modify for your needs. So the new one we just put up today is just a little get started with Globe template, which has, I guess I could even click on it. So you'll see something like this. It's just kind of a simple, like, here's first steps to get started, some ways to engage, some different connections, ways to share your research. So you could take this and kind of modify it for your audience level. Another example is we have some educator email templates. When you get your monthly status report and you see that there are new people in your partnership that have been e-trained, you can send them a nice email. We have our template there that we use from our office. We have a template you could send to school administrators if their educator took a workshop with you to get them psyched about Globe. And our friends down at NASA Langley made a really nice step-by-step instruction for creating Globe educator accounts with screenshots of each step and how to move through that process. So these are all here. We'd love to continue adding templates here, but please feel free to use any of these. And I can't see the chat, so if anyone's, yeah, okay. And then our last link here is tell your Globe story. So we got a lot of open slots for water coolers this season. If you have a cool idea or something to share, there's a link to sign up to present at a water cooler. And then Alicia, I'll let you take the tell your story.
Yeah, so we are hoping that if you have some activity going on, something exciting has happened in your partnership, maybe you've had a new connection with another organization, or you held a workshop that was, I was going to say innovative, but it doesn't even have to be innovative. Just, we want to hear what's going on with you. And these are things that we think could be newsworthy, you know, that we might post as a news story on the Globe website, or we might share it as a social media post. It seems like that's a good way to get that information out. So it's a really quick form. You just put in a few descriptive things. You can add photos. Of course, always we ask if you have photos that you use a media release. Important. And then if we need to follow up with you for more details, we can do that. But it's just again, a quick way for you to share your updates so that we can share your good work. So please use that share your Globe story. And this page is available for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So educators or partners or anybody who's doing work in the US for Globe, that's a way you can share with us.
Great.
And I
Did
just
you wanna
want to,
add? Yeah.
yeah, if I could just add, become a Globe US partner. So this is we basically have taken on the role of moving people through the process of becoming a Globe partner. I just wanted to point out this page because if some of you are talking to your colleagues at other colleges and universities and informal science centers, etc., this page now exists about what the role of a Globe partner is. If you saw on the listserv, we are now updating the responsibilities and expectations of a Globe partnership. So that'll be changed here as soon as that's finalized. But this also talks about the benefits of becoming a Globe partner, who's eligible, and then it has a template letter. And then that letter will come to us. And from there, we will act on it and move them through the process if they are a good fit for becoming a Globe partner. So I just wanted to point that out as well, because that is a new addition to an updated page to this. And along with that, if you go back to the US partners, Haley, and I just want to, I know Haley has been working on this a lot and she's been emailing people, but while you're here, I just wanted to tell you, and if you could pick out one of these, when you now click on the link to one of the Globe partnerships, so if we pick somebody here,
I'm gonna pick one that I know. I'm trying to remember the ones that I was just working on.
so what happens is it will go right to this page with the contact information. And what we are doing is taking your original statement that you made in your partnership letter. If you have not updated your partner page, we are adding that in. There are, what, 41 of them you worked on, Haley?
I worked on, I think I did 20, and I think there are 40 that the partnership had probably done the same thing right when they became a partnership, but it's not been updated.
So if everyone could look at that, we are trying to start people off with something to work with. But if we can't find your letter in the files, we have nothing to work with. And if you haven't done it, then it's really not there. So if you could visit your page and see if what we've got there is correct, that would be great. Okay, I think I'm
Yeah,
moving
great. And then I'm just really quickly gonna say that this US Partner Forum page has been updated a little bit too. And so you can come on here and meet your US Partner Forum member if you don't know who that is. We've even got a nice picture of them, so you'll recognize them next time you're on Zoom together. And some information about each member. So if you want to get in touch with your regional representative, the information is all here.
What does a partner forum member do?
So the partner forum members they're representatives of their region, And they typically reach out to everybody in that region. Different partner representatives work in different ways. I know the Midwest has a monthly meeting, and all the Globe partners attend that from the Midwest. They also give us input on things like the partnership expectations and responsibilities, or they work on different aspects of the program to basically advance the program in the United States. So they meet monthly, and we have our terms of reference there, which goes into a little bit more detail. And we also try and make it, pretty obvious through the listserv what they're working on and and we ask them to get input again from the Globe partners in their region.
Thank you.
We are going to be, there's, I believe, 2 or 3 member positions too that will be open for starting in January. So we'll be sending those out shortly.
Cool. So we're gonna jump just really quickly to tell you about a couple of the other fun things coming up. So we're gonna kind of take a step back to North America now. And the links are actually here, at least for the phenology campaign, right on our page at the United States. And do you want to talk about this, Alicia? Do you want me to? Doesn't matter.
Haley, why don't you talk about it, because you can add in all the new things that you come up with.
Sure. Everyone jump in. So the North American Phenology Campaign is open. We're so excited about it this year. So again, this is measuring green up or green down. So we're getting ready for our green down campaign in the fall, which I know in some parts of the country is well on its way, looking at Alaska. But there is a button here where you can register to participate. And we really encourage you to share this with educators in your networks. And by participating, Alicia sends a really awesome email regularly throughout the season, sharing our resources and kind of what steps you might be at. But we have a lot of other great materials that we've developed over the course of this campaign. So new this year is we have some educator guides. And these we worked on collaboratively with 2 of our Globe educators, Ellen Irvin, who's here in New Hampshire. She's an elementary aged educator, and Cheryl Williams in Alaska, who teaches high school and has been doing Green Down forever. And they both had really great sequences that they have done with their students. So we've put those together in kind of simple little activities that educators could follow if this is new to them. So we're super excited about that. We also, just to highlight a couple of the other things we have a little suite of mini tutorials. So these are like 2 to 5 minutes that walk you through the steps through videos of how to collect your data. And then we also have some really awesome scientist Q&A videos, which we've interviewed a bunch of different scientists that study all different aspects of phenology. And so these are, again, short 5 to 10 minute videos with all these different researchers, and they talk about their career path and why studying phenology is important, what kinds of equipment they use, that sort of thing. So these are really awesome resource for people that are thinking about phenology and students. Becky, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, and I think it is. You access this through your North America, but when you go under Do Globe and go under events, it's still linking to the same information. So everything is up to date and synchronized. I just want to make sure. Okay.
I believe so.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Good. No, thank you for checking. So we also have lots of other resources here. I'm not going to take a lot of time going through all of that, but we have links to all the different Globe learning activities that are available that relate to phenology and plant growth. We have our past webinars here. We have lots of resources about analyzing, communicating data. resources about how to collaborate around phonology. So lots here to look at, but we really encourage you to share this with your educators and have them register. And while we're on North America, we also have the regional meeting coming up. Jen, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So we're really excited about the North America regional meeting. It will be online from the 15th to the 17th. It'll essentially be from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully our friends, even in Alaska, we won't be asking you to get up too early in the morning. The agenda is going to be a 3-part agenda. It's a little bit different this year. Day 1 is going to be about skill building workshops. So that will be these little mini stations that you can rotate through. And the different stations will be skills like analyzing data on the Globe website or updating your partner page, or there's a whole list of them. And we're going to have you, when you register, choose which ones you would like to attend. And so that is day 1, though. People really asked to have more interactive things during the meeting. And so that's what we're going for. So you'll be able to attend several of these mini sessions for the first day. The second day will be our typical, what we've done in the past with lightning talks from Globe partners, but they will only be limited to the second day. And then we're also going to have this discussion about affinity groups. And this is something that actually has been a conversation for about 10 years. I found notes from a partner meeting that we had in 2013, where we first mentioned affinity groups and having Globe partners be able to network around a certain group, such as pre-service, undergraduate, engineering. It's really funny how things really come back around. So we want to have that conversation. That'll happen on Wednesday. And on Thursday, we're going to have some professional learning workshops. So we are working with the GIO to do things around marketing and to do things around grant writing and to really have this deep dive into professional learning for Globe partners. So it will this year be free to attend for Globe partners. And we are hoping that you'll find something each day, and the days are really varied this year. So the call for lightning talks is closed. We have had more than usual, I would say. So we're going to have to make some tough choices this year. And registration will be opening shortly. I think I'm done.
Yeah, that's our website tour. We hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a speed through, and I'm just looking at all these comments. It's really great.
Well, it's time for the interactive portion of our meeting. And let's see. So what we would like you to do at this time is we are super curious about meetings that you are attending. Because what we want to do is we want to do a better job finding each other at conferences and making sure that across all of Globe, we have representation. So what we wanted to do is ask people to put in conferences that they are attending into this Padlet. If you're the first person to add it, that's great. If you want to put a link, we would love that. If you're the second person, so for instance, if you have AGU in there and you're or NAAE, where Alicia and I will both be attending, if you're attending it too, let us know, because what we want to try and do is have meetups at all of these conferences for anybody in the Globe community. I want to tell you about these conferences, and that between our office, the GIO, and Jessica Taylor at NASA Langley, we're working on coming up with conference kits for Globe partners. And so we are working on things like basically having something that's useful for Globe educators that they would give out that would have information about Globe. So showing them an engagement path, right? So for instance, there was the color guide postcard, the plant color guide postcard, and on the other side was the year of climate and carbon and a link to that information. So we're looking at things like that. There's an energy balance one that NASA Langley has. There's the cloud yes window that Jody's showing up on her screen. There's the globe carbon cycle poster or graphic. And there was one more that I was thinking that's good. Oh, the research poster. So having the globe research poster, a mini of that, and on the other side, having SRS and IVSS information and how you can participate in those events. So we're really trying to look for things that people can take with them as a globe partner to all these events and make a better impression of globe that's kind of a useful tool at the same time. So we're working on that and updating things and having QR codes, and there's a group of us that are working on this together. And so we definitely, if you have feedback, I would love, feel free to give us some of that feedback about what you found useful at conferences or what you think educators or people that you're working with at these other conferences would need. So again, we're working with the GIO on that, and also Jessica Taylor at NASA Langley, because she is also thinking about this from the NASA perspective as well. And I know we have other NASA people here too. And so everyone's working together on this, and we'll hopefully have something. Alicia and I have a goal to have something that we need to use for November at NAAE. So our goal is to have some starter set for that. And then the big surprise, all of you that are attending today, the Globe Partners. I know, Odell, I see your eyes. Like, what are you telling me, Jen? Okay, so we feel like there should be a way for us to identify each other in the community at these conferences. We also know some people were really big fans of the Globe name tags that we gave out for several years. So we are bringing that back. We are bringing back Globe name tags. If you have a name tag that you need to wear for your organization, we are going to have you be able to have ribbons that will be attached to your name badge. So you will be identified as a Globe person. And then we're also looking at some Globe buttons to identify people as Globe educators. So you'd be able to attend one of our networking meetings and get a Globe educator button that will indicate that you are a member of the Globe community. So we're really trying to look for these places where we can identify each other and we can all be really cool together. So we'll be sending out more information about that. It is coming. Yes. Globe name tag, super cool. So, thank you everyone for coming. And I hope this is super helpful knowing that these things are on the website. If you have trouble finding them, let us know. But remember to log in for anything that is Globe partner only. So you will not see those things available unless you log in. So make sure you log in. And here's to a great year, everyone.